And we're live.
What's up? Whatever the hell Brooklyn normally says, but it doesn't matter because this is not Brooklyn's show. This is my show tonight because Brooklyn apparently had to have a birthday and he seemed like his life was more important than the panel that he assembled. So, me being the nice guy as I am, I decided to fill in where he fails us and decided to take over this playlist. And the sad news is I changed the locks and he cannot come back in. But I cannot do this alone. This is the epic rap battles of history, one of the funniest things that used to run over the internet. But we have a great panel here. Malcolm, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, and just we're to do this. I've got a really long list because apparently I couldn't decide which ones were favourite, so I just put them in priority order. But yeah, it's definitely going to be fun.
Oh, yes, very fun. Next, we got Aaron. Aaron, how are you today?
I'm just confused because the middle video, I did not realize we were.
You're breaking up. Not 100% what you said there.
Working.
Okay. Again, still breaking up. Couldn't really, but it's all right. Next, we got Zadius. Zadius, how are you doing, Z-Man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing pretty good. Ready to get this. Ready to see how this goes because I've been rewatching these videos over the last couple of days. I had some great laughs, but then I've also seen some. God damn. So yeah, I'm ready to see how this ranks.
Yeah, they kind of went a little too long. They didn't know when to bow out, but the ones that are good, they're really good. And last but not least, Andrew. Andrew, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. I was a bit of a last-minute replacement, but hopefully I could do good here and have a good list.
Yes. So this kind of works exactly like right thrown into the music of just this type of artist. So what works is that we have a nomination round where everybody goes around and nominates, and we decide, yay, it goes on the list, or hell no, it does not. I will throw out the first nomination. I was, again, kind of a last minute, so at work today, all I was doing was listening to these epic rap battles just to get re-familiarized with them. And I have to go with Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney. Now, some maybe from like New Zealand stuff you don't understand, but during the political race, that was fantastic, and the perfect on point of Barack Obama's impersonation was on point in this video, and I think Abe Lincoln at the end has so much comedic timing with this. So that is my first nomination. We're going to throw it to Malcolm first. Malcolm. Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama.
Yeah, this is I really like this. Is like a lot of and I do have a few political battles on my list as well, but this one was probably one of the better ones, and I don't have a problem saying yes to it because it was fun. And was this the one that had Abraham Lincoln come in at the end, or was that one of the other ones?
This one was comes in at the end.
Eagle!
Yeah. And I mean that the cameo of Abe at the end is like just pretty much chewed up both of them afterwards and flying back away on the Eagle again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Looks like we heard Aaron that one, so I'm going to go to Aaron next. Does Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney make the list?
Yes. I don't know how long my internet's going to last, so I'll just keep it short.
Okay, I heard a yes, so it does.
Did it break?
It broke a little bit, but not too bad. We did hear the yes. So that is the first one to make the list. And we're gonna go Andrew and Zadius. You didn't get an opinion on this, so Zadius, what would you have said about this one?
Yeah, I would get this. Yes, it's towards like the bottom of my list, but it's definitely one of the great, better ones. So yeah, it's a yeah for me.
All right, and Andrew, you didn't get an opinion. What do you think?
I would have also said yes. This is pretty at the bottom of my list too, but it also would have been a yes from me.
Okay, fair enough. So Andrew, you did not get a vote, so I'm going to go to you next. What is your first nomination?
My first nomination is just personally my favorite one out of them all, and that is Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs. I just love the banter between the two of them, and I feel like it's a pretty evenly matched one, and this is the one that I constantly revisit, and then I love the at the end where Steve Jobs dies and pretty much comes back as HAL 9000. I thought that was a pretty cool one.
All right. So that's a good choice. I'm going to go to Zadius first. Zadius, what do you say about this one?
For this one, I mean, it was okay, but I'm gonna have to say no because the best part of this rap battle to me was the cameo at the end by HAL 9000. So it's no for me.
All right, Zadius with a no. We're gonna go to Aaron next. Aaron, what's your opinion on this?
Yes.
Yes.
I think he said yeah.
I think you said yes. If you want to drop real quick, and
We're
then try
keeping it to
drop back in. Oh, okay. I can hear you a little bit. All right, so it's 1-1. Malcolm, what do you say about Bill Gates? Well, it's 2-1. What do you say about Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs?
Yeah, this one is pretty low on my list, and honestly, this one I think the cameo was better than the actual rap battle, so I'm gonna say no.
All right, so it's 2-2, and this is where it may be because I haven't heard it that much. It was one that I kind of missed, but when I re-listened to it, I wasn't that impressed with it, so I have to give it a no vote. So with that, it does not make the top 12. I'm gonna go to Zadius next for his nomination. Zadius, what would you like to bring up?
Well, I think this should be a definite yes in my opinion. It's one of my favorite ones, but I gotta throw out Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers. Um, there's a line in Mr. Rogers' second verse. Actually, his whole second verse is amazing, but when I'm not sure we can say it since it's gonna be on YouTube, but just watch the second verse. Just watch this battle and listen to that second verse about chopping people up. This is hilarious. Yeah, Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T.
All right. Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T. I'm going to go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, what do you say about this one?
Yeah, I mean, this one was one that was pretty low on my list, and this is one that it was fine, but I think it is just outside of the top 12 for me.
Ooh, wow. This is going to be a fun list with you guys because everybody has different opinions. So I love it. Hey, about Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers. Andrew?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was my turn. My bad.
Sorry. That's my bad.
This is the one I actually really enjoy, but it just isn't in my top 12. I do enjoy it a lot. Especially Mr. Rogers in this is pretty amazing, but just not in my top 12, so I'm gonna have to say no on this one.
All right. So we got 2 no votes and 2 yes votes, or 1 yes vote. I actually love this one. I think it's very funny. Again, I always find it great when they pretty much compare the two. Like, they do such a good job imitating the two to make it seem as real, especially just listen back. So I would have to give it a yes. So that means it's on the shelf right now, because I don't believe Brooklyn uses the save in this.
No.
Like Rankum. So
usually what Brooklyn does is the person that nominated it, their vote didn't matter, and
Well, what I'm going to do right now to see if Aaron's coming back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and if he's not, see if we can get like a replacement. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah.
Zaddies, you can talk a little bit more why you like this one, if that helps, and maybe you can sway somebody.
Well, yeah, if I can draw some more information, just even Mr. T's verse in this one, versus in this one was pretty good. I think it was a pretty even first verse by both competitors, but then just Mr. Rogers came and took in the second round. I think this is okay to say. I'll just say the end of it. It's just like he just tells Mr. T to get the fuck out of my neighborhood. Just period. Sorry. Hopefully we can.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
It was just hilarious to me. And I think it was Nice Peter that did just a great job of imitating Mr. Rogers.
I agree. I'm going to ask Aaron through the chat right now why he is trying to fix up his internet issues to see if it works. So we'll see. Oh, and unfortunately, Aaron says no. So it
Tell me, Aaron.
Next. So the last, Aaron hasn't went yet. But right now, Malcolm, which one would you like to nominate?
Yeah, well, the one I'm going to bring up first is probably one of my favourites, just because of the way they did this one, because this is probably the most ambitious rap battle that they chose to do, and it's Zeus versus Thor. This is the one that they did completely all Lego created, and this one was so fun. Just see like all the cameos from various Greek gods and characters from Thor in the background, and this is just one of those ones which I think is really good just from what they chose to do with this one, rather than go for the whole live action aspect of it, and I think it just works quite so well.
Okay, Zeus versus Thor. I'm actually currently re-listening to it to try to get some, because I didn't get a chance to this one. So I'm going to go to Zaddius. Malcolm broke your heart last time. Are you going to break his heart this time?
You know what? I wasn't looking at it that way. Actually, yes, I was. Yes, this is a no for me. It was okay. I admired the creativity that they did for this video. That was great. That's hands down was great. It's just I don't think the bars were that great on either side's verses. So it's a no for me.
All right, one no vote. Let's see if Aaron is back with us fully. Zeus versus Thor is on the table from Malcolm. What say you?
Can you hear me?
You did not glitch, but I can't fully hear you. Try to say something one more time.
Hello.
I heard hello.
I heard something.
Okay, so just try to talk loud, and I think we're good because you're not glitching. So,
try to say something now because I turned your volume up.
Hello.
Yeah, I can make out your audio now. So
yeah. So, what do you say against Zeus and Thor? Zeus versus Thor.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that's what I heard. So yeah.
What do you say?
He said yes. He said it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes and no. Andrew, you get the next vote.
I really do admire what they were trying to do with this and the creativity, but I just don't think the lyrics are that amazing. So I'm gonna have to go with no on this one.
2 Aaron's joined the call. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
I'm working on audio myself. I give this a yes vote. After re-listening to it, I really enjoy it. Actually, I think it's a smart choice. So that looks like.
Okay, can you guys hear me and hear me clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's gonna get really confusing, but to fix it, I had to open it up on my computer so you have camera, but it's not gonna pop up because I'm talking through my phone.
Okay. Either way,
The
I'm
computer
cool
I record on is very, very old. It's not gonna work anymore.
Gotcha. So far, 2 have made the list. Aaron, you get the next nomination to close out round 1. So what do you want to bring up?
Sure. So what are the 4 that have been said, just so I'm up to date? It was Romney Obama, and then it was T. Rogers, Zeus Thor, and then
Mr. Rogers.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I'm going to throw a classic one out there. Darth Vader versus Hitler. I think this was the first one that really blew him up. Obviously, before it was Lenin versus Bill O'Reilly, but this was the one that came after. Really blew him up. It really was popular because of the 2 people he picked. I think a lot of their earlier battles I think won't make the list just because I think they have shown progression over time as both rappers and writers. I think it is weaker work in some of their episodes, but I think one particularly strong it holds up, and I think that trilogy is such a internet collection for this show, and this is the best one of the 3.
All right. Vader versus Hitler, and this was going to be my next nomination. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. This was going to be my next nomination. I find this one hysterical almost, just because the 2, they go back and forth so well. So I would give it a yes vote. Malcolm, what do you say about Hitler versus Vader?
So was it the first one, or was it, which one was it?
The first one.
And we go. Okay.
Yeah. I just thought I'd check there. I'm gonna say no to this because I think their third one was better. So yeah.
Okay. Zadius. What do you
Just to
think?
make sure, we can only nominate one of these 3, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a no for me. I like this. This is definitely in that top. Hell, this is my top 10. But there's one that's number 2 is billion times better for me. It's just great. But I'm just
Is it Brooklyn's rule that you can only nominate one of the third ones?
Well, when I asked him, he said yes. So yeah.
I should override that because this is not his show anymore. So I am saying you could nominate whatever you'd like because Brooklyn decided birthday cake was more important than you guys. So if you want to nominate more, you can nominate more. First overrule of the night.
That's a yes for me. It's a great battle. I 100% love this battle. It's just, again, I think I think the other ones are better. But since we can nominate the next ones, this is definitely a yes for me.
All right. Sounds perfect. Andrew. Well, Darth Vader and Hitler makes the list with me, Aaron, and Thaddeus saying yes. So, Andrew, what would you have said?
Well, I was gonna say no, but now that one, I mean, I have to say yes for this one.
Brooklyn doesn't matter anymore. This isn't Brooklyn's show. This is my show. So let's all get ready for a fun night. Okay. So it comes back to me, and let's see. I'm not a fan of this man's work, but I really find this one really funny. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going with Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. I found it really funny. I found it really enjoyable. And I hate the Muppets. So that's where it comes from there. So I'm going to throw it to Malcolm first. Malcolm, what do you say about Jim Henson versus Stan Lee?
Yeah, this is definitely in my top 5. This is a yes for me. This battle is just so much fun, and it was just one of those ones which started turning into a nice friendly battle. Then Walt Disney just comes in and forces them to fight and just throws it all into chaos again. Just so much fun, and this is one that it was so entertaining just for the fact that I'm pretty sure this battle was released shortly after the announcement of Disney owning stuff, but I could be wrong there. But yeah.
All right, so 2 votes for Henson versus Lee. I'm going to go to Andrew next. Andrew, what do you say about this one?
I really enjoyed this one. I like what they just do with the whole thing, especially at the end with Walt Disney, but it's just not one of the ones that is in my top, so I'm going to have to say no.
It's okay to be incorrect. Zadius, what say you?
Well, I'm gonna have to be on the incorrect side too. This is another one just like the Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs one, where I think it was a cute matchup at first. Then when Walt Disney came in, just threw his weight around, that was the best part of the match to me. But it's a no for me on this one. It's in like the top 20, just not top 10, top 12 for me.
Okay, we got to find a replacement for Zadius. Aaron, what say you?
I'd just like to say that the show would have gone correctly if we hadn't had to replace people, because both of them were replacements. Second off, I'm kidding.
Damn.
Second off, this is going to be a yes for me personally. I don't think the whole if the third person is better, it means it hurts it a little more. I can see your point in it. It just doesn't hurt me as much. Also, it's not often that Epic Rap Battles of History teaches us a philosophical lesson, and in this we learned we all do bend down for Mickey Mouse.
That's right. You don't F with the mouse. So Henson and Lee go on the list. Next person to nominate, Andrew. What's it?
All right. So the next one I'm going to go with is Rick Grimes versus Walter White. I absolutely love this one. This came out at a time where I feel like both shows are very popular. I mean, Breaking Bad has since ended, but at the time it came out, both shows were really popular, and I love the references that they bring from each show, and I think that Epic Lloyd plays Walter White perfectly, and I just love what he says, especially what he says at the end to end the battle. I think it's pretty great.
All right. Walter White versus Rick Grimes. I'll go next on this one. You're right. When they were both popular and good, this was a perfect time for this to come out because The Walking Dead so far now sucks. But I definitely love this because, one, Breaking Bad is one of my all-time favorite shows, but I think they capture him so perfectly in this rap battle. So I'm going to give it a yes, and I'm going to go to Aaron next. Aaron?
I'm going to have to say no on this one just because this one didn't hit me as hard when it first came out because The Walking Dead has never interested me. I've seen the first couple seasons of it and I thought it was just okay, and I've never seen Breaking Bad, so I wasn't a part of this was made definitely to hit a certain audience because you have two popular leads from two popular shows at the time. I wasn't a part of it. You give me that look. I was like 13 when that show was on TV. Give me some
valid
credit.
Point.
But
valid point. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to find your replacement.
But yeah, no, it's a no for me, and it just. Well, it's been fun, guys.
Okay. Thought Connections was going to end his time, but my dictatorship is taking over. Zadius, can you please enlighten us with some correct takes?
I believe Andrew said it best. That last line that Walt had was just damn, Rick, just it's over. But they both did a good job in this battle. But Walter White definitely took the battle for me, and then I think this is a definite yes for it. This is definitely my top 10. Yeah.
All right, it makes the list. Malcolm, you didn't get a vote, but what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I really don't care for The Walking Dead. I've never seen Breaking Bad, so it would have been a no for me. Because I did watch this battle, but yeah, I just really didn't care for this.
If you didn't have such a beautiful beard, I would ask you to leave. But it doesn't matter.
Well, just remember who's running the stream.
Oh, that's a valid point too. You pretty much have locked yourself in. But we'll go. So that makes the list. So far we have Mitt Romney versus Obama, Zeus and Thor, Darth Vader and Hitler won. Jim Henson and Stan Lee, and Rick Grimes and Walter White. So Zadius, what is your next nomination?
I'm still a little hurt that my last one didn't get through, but I'm just gonna throw this one out there. If it doesn't get in, I hate all of you guys. I'm going with Hitler versus Vader 2, and God damn it, he froze him in carbonite. Sorry, spoiler alert. He froze him in carbonite. Before that, he literally killed him. He literally killed Hitler in this match, and this was great. This is a great matchup to me.
All right, Hitler Vader 2 is on the table because Brooklyn's opinion doesn't matter here anymore. Andrew, what do you say?
This is personally my favorite out of the trilogy of the three of them. And I just agree. This is 100% a yes for me.
And I don't understand the viewpoint of why you can't count that, because if we were doing Pixar, Toy Story would have a couple of options to be put on there. So that's why Brooklyn is wrong. Malcolm, what do you say?
I mean, as I said before, the one I like was 3. I've liked 3 more, but so it's going to be a no for me.
Malcolm hates stuff just like Brooklyn.
Me, you,
Aaron,
Malcolm.
what do you say?
I take points away from it because it is a little bit of a shorter battle. I don't like that. It feels like those last 2 battles were like half a battle each, which is why I don't like them as much as the first. But if we're comparing the second to the third, this one's way better. So I'll give it. That's fine. Yes.
All right, it makes it, and we have to listen to the man that runs Movie Battleground. He knows something about battles. So, it makes the list.
I know nothing about battles. Have you seen our final matches?
Okay. I would have said yes as well, because I think it does a good job of continuing on from the last battle and makes it a great one. So it would have made the list for me. We are halfway through. So, Aaron,
We are.
can you find one to be put on the list?
Sure. Let me see out of the top ones. Okay. I'm gonna go with Steven Spielberg versus Alfred Hitchcock. As somebody who obviously I can say we're all film fans, but as somebody who is currently in college studying film, I think that just the way they wrote this battle and the fact that they found a way to write it that they could drop that many references in it, and not just to their films, but they dropped references to other things that people may not have caught on. Like they referenced Amblin, which is Spielberg's studio. The background, like the actual setting they're in, they put homages to the different films that they made in the background of it. And then bringing in the other filmmakers towards the end and giving everyone kind of like a bit of a different viewpoint. And I have to say, in terms of like the trend they started doing later, where they were bringing multiple rappers into these matches, I think this one might have been done the best. because every single rapper takes a jab at Michael Bay, and you don't really think about that until they bring him in at the end, and his verse is basically what his films are. It's just all about making fucking money.
Fucking money.
All right, Zadius, you spoke up. So what do you say about this one?
This one was. We've already got 6 of the 12. I liked it. Top 12 because it has some good cameos. You know what? My bottom 3 are kind of just loose, so I'll get this a yeah vote. So this was funny. This is funny. How to do that.
All right, so it's 2 votes. Malcolm, the one that pretty much hates everything besides his own. What would you say?
I will say that I don't hate this. This is this is good. I mean, this is one that I do have it lower on my list, but I don't have a problem with it going in, so it's a yes for me.
All right, Andrew, what do you say?
Absolutely. This is definitely one of my favorites. So yeah.
And I also would have said yes. I think this is a very funny one. I think I am 100% with Aaron how many references they can actually pull in this. And to just include Michael Bay when you talk about 2 of the greatest directors, and then you throw that crackpot into the mix. Fantastic. So, Malcolm, what is your second nomination?
Yeah. So what's on the list so far?
We have Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama, Zeus versus Thor, Darth Vader versus Hitler 1 and 2, Jim Henson versus Stan Lee, Rick Grimes versus Heisenberg, and Spielberg versus Hitchcock.
I thought Zeus versus Thor got all no votes.
Did it?
I don't know. I don't remember it getting on.
Give me 1 second.
I said yes.
I think got yeah because I have it on my
I
list.
said yes, and you said yes. So
Okay.
Do you want your option to be thrown off?
No.
Okay.
We can do it. Oh, boy.
Listen, this show can become Malcolm's show just as fast as it became Cody's show.
Incorrect. I've changed the locks. No one.
If we just change the name to Rankum.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, no. Okay, so my next nomination is going to be one of my favorite ones. I had a special a cameo guest in it, and it's Isaac Newton versus Bull Nye. This one was a really fun battle, and it definitely had and I mean it's not just because like they had Weird Al as Isaac Newton. It was just one of those ones which I thought was just really entertaining. Like, and Weird Al just really kills it when it comes to doing anything that involves dressing up and parodying some famous figure, and this is definitely suits his style as well. So I just thought it was really entertaining and fun to watch.
I will go next, and hot take alert, I don't like Weird Al. I find him very annoying. And I know that's maybe an unpopular, but maybe people agree with me. I found him annoying. So, like I do in most things, I have to give it a no vote. We'll go to Andrew next. Andrew, what do you say about this one?
I really enjoy this one. I think Weird Al is great in this. Same with Nice Peter. I love how they bring in Neil deGrasse Tyson in at the end, but it's just not in my top 12, so I'm going to have to say no.
All right. Aaron, what do you say about this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no on this one. Just to kind of give a little bit of approach where I came at this, I hadn't watched these in a while before doing this. So what I actually did to kind of limit it was I looked at a list of them and picked out what ones stood out, what ones were memorable, what ones I still remembered lines from all these years later. This one just wasn't one of them. I just, I'm sure Weird Al was good at dressing up and playing a character in it. It just, nothing about it stands out as memorable to me, to the point where I honestly didn't even remember Neil deGrasse Tyson was in at the end of it. It was just one of those where I watched it when it came out, probably laughed at a joke or two and moved on from it. Nothing stood out about it to me, so I'm going to have to say no. Sorry.
All right, and with that, it does not make the 12. Thaddeus, what would you have said?
Yeah, it would have been a no for me too. I mean, if we didn't just have 5 spots left, maybe, but yes, it's a no. It would have been a no.
All right, so it's my nomination. Of course, I rank them anything like this strategically because you got to rank them at some point. But this one actually really caught me by surprise because I forgot about this one while re-listening to it, and I thought it was super funny. Not going to be surprised if it gets shut down, but I'm going to say Terminator versus RoboCop. As a fan of both of those movies, the first two and the original RoboCop, I'm not going to talk about anything else. As a fan, they were so funny and so great with what they came up with to diss each other. So I have to throw that one out there as one that actually stood out to me. So I'm going to go to Thaddeus first this time.
At risk of getting kicked off. First of all, let me say I'm so glad you clarified that it was Terminator movies. So glad, but this just wasn't the best battle to me. It's such to say it sounded very. I'm not even gonna say it sounded robotic, but yeah, it's a no.
Get out, Malcolm. Your choice. Your vote.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well. I just thought the rapping was very robotic and yeah.
Okay, Andrew, what do you say? Yes or yes?
Well, neither of those because I'm gonna have to go with no on this one. I really enjoy RoboCop in this one. Terminator, not so much. So that kind of brings it down for me.
I bet if it was Wolverine, you would have voted yes. All right.
Probably.
Aaron, please have the only sense of correct judgment on this panel.
Well, the first thing I want to say is no one needs to fear being kicked out. Malcolm is in charge of the stream. Second,
listen here.
I actually
do not point out my plans. I will pay Malcolm good money.
I actually would have said yes to this one. I think the robotic flow they delivered the verses in was kind of on purpose. They're both playing emotionless robots. It's kind of what they have to do with it. I don't think the writing is as strong in it as some of the others, but I think just in terms of the character portrayal, what they did, I thought it worked for me. So I would have said yeah.
Man, if I was a real dick, I would literally just take over Rankham's save 'em power right now and implement it right here, right now. But I won't do that. I will play by the rules and be nice. So, Andrew, give us your next incorrect statement and nominate what you want.
I feel like this next one just has to be mentioned, at least for me, and that is Albert Einstein versus Stephen Hawking. In terms of the earlier stuff, I think this is, at least for the first couple seasons, this is definitely one of the best. And I love what they did with the portrayal of both of the characters, and I love how Nice Peter played Hawkins, and some of the stuff Einstein said was really awesome. So I just feel like this one needs to be mentioned.
Okay, we're gonna go to Aaron first. What do you say?
I think I'm actually going to agree with him and say yes. It wasn't on my list that I pulled up, but I do think, like I said earlier, I do think the earlier episodes are definitely the weakest. I think you can definitely see improvement over time, but I think the older ones do need some representation on there, and this is by far one of the better ones. So, yeah, I think I'm going to say yes to it.
All right. Malcolm, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, there's only 5 spots left, and even though I did like this, I'm going to say no, because out of the earlier ones, I I actually didn't find this one very memorable myself.
Malcolm's letting the power of the stream take over his mind. Zadius, what do you say?
Yeah, this it's gonna be a no for me, and mainly because if I hadn't voted for a couple, if there weren't a couple of other ones that were on this list already, it would be on there. But we're only 5 spots up. I gotta say no.
And man, I hate to be the spite vote here, but only if RoboCop and Terminator made the list. Did you vote that one down, or did you vote yes for that?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, that means it's a no for me. All right. Thanks for your decisions. This is the last time Brooklyn will ask me to host. All right. I'm going to go with a man I respect, a man that I think will pick the right one. Zadius, let's pick the correct one here.
Okay, let me take a look back at my list. There's some good ones with only 5 spots left. One of my top 5 got no vote. 2 of my top 5 are in. I gotta say, and this is gonna go back to the season 1 because it was just a great video. Actually, I don't know if this was season 1 or 2, but I gotta say Clint Eastwood versus Bruce Lee. There's a line where Clint Eastwood says something about sequels. I'll leave it at that to Bruce Lee, and that hurt my heart. It really did. But this was a great battle.
That was the final line, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, final line, man.
Oh man, yeah.
Do you want to reiterate the line for us right now?
Oh, I put it on here. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, go watch this video. But still, Clint Eastwood's last line is literally, "I beat you in round 2, but that'd be unbelievable. No one in your family ever lives to see a sequel." I'm like, come on, Brad. Come on. Shots. That hit my heart. So yeah, it's definitely in my top 5.
Right. With that and the reiterating, I will go next. I say yes to this one. I think this is the correct choice. I like this one a lot. I think that line. I always kind of finish like when I think of rap battles. That last line can do so much damage, so I have to give it full credit, and I will give it a yes vote. Aaron, what do you say?
Yeah, that has to be one of the best ending lines in any of these videos ever. Yeah, I think I'm going to say yes to this one because I think overall in terms of the whole video, I don't know if it's one of the best, but I think if you look at the writing in it, some of the single punchlines that this one has of them just like random jabs in the verses just hitting back and forth to each other, I think it's really, really good.
All right. Andrew and Malcolm, your votes didn't count, so Andrew, how would you have voted on this one?
I would have said yes for this one. I agreed. Some of the lines in this are just truly amazing, especially that the ending line. Like that was insane.
It looks like Andrew actually woke up and decided to vote correctly. Malcolm, what would you have said?
I would have said no. The ending line is probably more memorable than the battle itself.
Oh my gosh, do I have Malcolm here or Paulo Yama? Jeez Louise. No votes for miles. Good heavens. Okay, so next I'm going to go with Aaron. Hopefully you can convince the other 3 of us to say yes, because sure knows Malcolm won't.
All right, let me see. I'm looking at which one I want to pull out of this. All right, I'm going to go with this one just because I think it makes a point. And I'm going to go back to one of the reasons I think the earlier battles weren't as good is because if you watch them, there is a lot more rotational guests that came in that weren't there in the later seasons. And I don't think a lot of them held up and gave good performances. Like, I just think it was you could tell it was a new show. You could tell it was very basic at the time. I do think hiring a team, getting a budget, and sticking mainly to Peter and Lloyd over the years definitely helped them. For that reason, and I'm trying to decide which of the two I want to nominate, I think I'm going to go with Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali. And this is kind of as a representation for both their battles. I think Key and Peele might be some of the best guests this show ever had on because, A, both of them can actually rap. They are rapping, they are flowing. They're not just speaking it fastly like a lot of some of the other guests do. And I think the writing in the episodes is really well done. I think they both give good imitations of their characters as they are sketch artists, so that's what they're good at. And I think it's a well-written, well-performed battle, and it shows what happens when you get guests who are good at this type of stuff to come in and perform, that the show can still stand up to the standard of what the regulars can produce.
All right. We have Jordan versus Ali, the two greatest of all time. I'm going to go to Malcolm first to get the no out of the way, and then we can move on.
Well, I'm not going to not say no. I'm going to say yes.
I get a prize. I did it.
This is definitely one of my favorite ones with guests. And it's just so entertaining, and Campbell were definitely the great choices to play them.
All right, Andrew. Can you seal it up?
Yes, I can, because I'm also going to say yes. I love both Key and Peele. I think they do amazing jobs. I think these are two of the best, performances in the rap battles, and how they both portray both Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali is fantastic. And some of the lines are great. So I definitely got to go yes on this one.
All right, Thaddeus, what would you have said, even though your opinion doesn't matter right now?
Even though Aaron crushed my heart when he voted down my Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T, I'm not letting that one go. I wouldn't hold that against this battle, because this is like in my top 6 for real. This is definitely the best of their two battles. Hint, hint. So it would have been a yes for me.
All right, and I would have also said yes. You don't vote against the GOAT. So I think it was the perfect people to bring in for this one. So now, Malcolm, pick let's hear your hipster choice and see if we all don't like it as much as you don't like our choices.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up one which I really enjoyed, and that's J.R.R. Tolkien versus George R.R. Martin. This is one that I found it was really great, and the jabs that both of them picked at both their franchises were amazing. And I mean, there's so many jabs, and just having George Martin just sitting at a computer, still typing away at his last book, was just perfect shot choice for that. Just for the reason he's just made it seem like Tolkien just came up and interrupted him while he was trying to finish writing the book, and that's why the last book hasn't been finished yet.
All right. We're going to go to Thaddeus first. Thaddeus, what do you say about this battle?
Well, it's interesting. I was kind of hoping to be the deciding vote for this one, just so it hurt a little bit more. But yeah, it's a no for me. Not this one was weak to me, so yeah.
All right. See, Malcolm, when you're mean to everybody, it comes back to bite you. Aaron, what do you say?
It's me next?
Sure, why not?
Okay, I couldn't hear what you said, honestly, at that moment.
Oh, okay.
I think some of the lines in this are okay, but overall I'm going to have to say no, just because with only 3 spots left, there are multiple battles where it's author versus author, and I don't think this is the best one in the category. I think, with the exception of like a reference here or there, or maybe a good line here or there, just performances that were a little weaker than others.
Okay, I'm going to go next, and I'm going to agree. This is one that kind of went under the radar, and I don't remember as well. So when I re-listened to it, I was just like, Oh, they could have done so much more with this, I believe, than what they did. So I have to give it a no vote as well. Andrew, your vote doesn't count, but what would you have said?
I would have said no. I think this one's fine. It's just nothing special to me.
Okay. That's it. So now it comes back to me, and oh Lord, I'm gonna do one that I really enjoy. Again, I have no like secret love for all these that you guys will break my heart. The ones I really want in have gotten in, but I'm gonna go with the one that really made me laugh a lot, and I'm gonna go Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. Just because one, I was in when I was in high school, we had to freaking listen to read Edgar Allan Poe all through freshman year, and when you bust out and hear about just how Stephen King and then go back and forth, I love what they did here. So I'm going to put that on the table. Malcolm, go ahead and say no, and then we can go.
Yeah, I was going to say no anyway. I thought this one. I thought this one was weak. I mean, I like both the authors. I've read their things, but I just didn't think this rap battle worked.
It's okay to be incorrect. Andrew, what do you say?
Absolutely. I think this one should make the list. This is in my top 3. When this came out, I was in high school reading both of these authors, so it came out at the perfect time for me. And I just think who they got, they did a really awesome job in it. This is just personally one of my favorites.
All right. Oh, gosh, I knew Andrew was a good guy. That's why I never threatened to throw you off the street. Aaron, what do you say?
I said on the J.R.R. Tolkien vote that it was not the best one about authors. This was the one I'm referencing to. I think in terms of the references, it's as well done as the Spielberg Hitchcock Mac was, and just how many books they could throw out and making it fit with the flow. Also, in terms of just rappers they've had on the show, I believe his name is George Watsky, might be one of the best pure rappers they've ever had come on. The flow of him playing Edgar Allan Poe in this is just so well done. Yeah, no, this is definitely one of the top battles.
All right. So Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King makes the list. Zadius, I know you're a smart man, so you probably agreed, but let's hear what you have to say.
You know what? I would have said that Edgar Allan Poe definitely had a damn hot flow in this video. So yeah, I'm glad it made the list and it did come down to me. That's all I'll say. Next.
You're a smart man. You're a smart man. All right. So we're gonna go to Andrew again. Andrew, what is your nomination?
Let me see.
1, 2,
how many spots are left?
8, 9, 10. We have 2 more.
Okay.
So don't be wrong.
Expect it. I don't expect this one to make the list, but I'll throw it out there. The one I'm gonna do is Blackbeard versus Al Capone. This is one that I personally really enjoy. I especially love the way Epic Lloyd portrays Capone. I think he does a fantastic job, and Nice Peter does a really good job with Blackbeard. But I especially Epic Lloyd as Capone. I love what they say about each other, and I think this is just a really really awesome one.
Okay. We're going to go to Zadius first, so you don't have to be the deciding vote on this in case it comes to that.
Yeah, it's 2 spots left. It was okay, but not in the top 12. Sorry, dude. Not for this one.
All right, Malcolm, what do you say?
Yeah, this one's a no for me as well. This one was pretty much just a sort of blatant one that they did to promote the new Assassin's Creed game that they're doing. I mean, the promotional ones work sometimes. I don't think this one worked a lot.
All right, Aaron, Do you want to shoot this one in the head, or do you want to let it live on for a little bit longer?
I'm going to let it live for a little bit longer because before I shoot it in the head, I have to ask Malcolm a question. How the hell do you run a ranking show and say no to everything?
He's actually a lot more willing on his own show, but this show he's just like, hell no, no thank you, don't want it. Like, that's not who he is. But tonight, apparently, he's angry. He's upset about something.
To address the actual battle, though, I do think it's a good battle. I do agree with Andrew that the portrayal of Capone and the verses done there are really well done. I just think to kind of go off what Malcolm said on the promotional end, Blackbeard's just a really kind of little off choice to put against Capone. I think there could have been better matches, and it feels like that end of it was a little half-assed in some ways just because they did have to make the promotional bit work. And if we're talking about a top 12 where we only have 2 spots left, I just don't think it has a seat in there. Sorry.
Oh, Andrew, I would have voted with you because no, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't have. That was a bad choice. Sorry, buddy. So next to nominate, 2 spots left. Thaddeus, can you help us get closer to closing it out?
You know what? It's in my top 10, but I'm not. It's just one of my personal favorites because it's in the latter half of the seasons where I didn't think they worked too well, but when they brought in T-Pain and Lily Singh for Wonder Woman versus Stevie Wonder, I think it was a great battle. And then, Lily had great disses for T-Pain Stevie about his kids and having 9 different kids with 5 different women, and T-Pain talking about how she's trying to be Miss Independent, but her first movie is her leaving with a guy. It was a great battle to me, but. So I'll join Wonder Woman versus Stevie Wonder.
What a shocker! The guy with the flash shirts decides to nominate something with a DC character. Andrew, Thaddeus was mean to you last round. Are you going to be mean to him this round?
What does that mean?
I think you voted.
No. Oh well, but no, I absolutely love this one. I'm gonna have to say yes. I love T-Pain in this. I think he does great, and the portrayal of Wonder Woman's pretty good too, and just the back and forth between them is great, and I absolutely love this one.
All right, Malcolm. Since me being on your show and being such a Debbie Downer all the time, it's kind of influenced you. So, are you gonna be the inner me and say no again? Yes, he is.
I mean,
Malcolm.
I mean, I like this battle. It was fun. It just wasn't memorable. So no, it's a no for me.
I feel like this is beginning.
Paul was supposed to be on this show, and since he's not, Malcolm said, "F that, I'll take a spot." Okay. Aaron, we have 2 yes votes, 1 no vote. What do you say?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have no on. I don't remember it as well. Some of the other teachers didn't say that it was memorable to me.
Can't hear you.
What happened?
You kind of stopped talking, so give us it one more time.
All right, I'll just say no. Shout out to T-Pain for rapping off auto-tune.
If we were nominating best rappers with auto-tune, I would have said yes. But somebody's going to have to buy T-Pain a drink because this one gets a no.
Oh.
You know what? Shout out for my favorite song by him, though. Thank you, Cody. I'll take that.
Okay. I jammed to it in high school, so it works. Aaron, can you close out the list? No, never mind. We still have 2 spots because that one did not make the list. So can you help us get closer to closing out the list?
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to put up Skrillex versus Mozart. I think in terms of writing, this was them attempting to redo what they did earlier with Bieber versus Beethoven. I think it's done a lot better writing-wise, done a lot better performance-wise, and I think the beat is one of the best. They kind of dubstep mix the beat because of Skrillex being rapper in it, And I think they did a really good job at doing that. And once again, shout out to Epic Lloyd. His portrayal Skrillex was pretty.
I'm going to make it quick and painless. No, I don't like this one. So I'm going to give it up to Andrew next.
I'm also gonna have to go no on this one. I just don't think compared to ones that are left, it's not all that memorable to me. So no.
I knew you were a smart man. Malcolm, can you just close it out for us?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Bieber versus Beethoven was better, so it would have been a no for me.
Hot take. Zadius. Oh, wait, that closes it. Zadius, what would you have said?
It would have been a no for me.
Okay.
All right now.
The hipster of all hipsters, Malcolm, what do you say? Can you get us any closer?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna bring up Eastern philosophers versus Western philosophers. That I really liked this battle. And I mean, this is one that I really enjoyed because the fact that it's one of the many team battles in which, by the end of this rap battle, it was pretty much everyone turning on everyone else and getting in their own jabs at even the same people, the people on their same side, just showing that a lot of the philosophers just never really got along all the time. It was just really fun, and I really liked this battle, and they really got some good barbs in it as well.
All right. Zadius.
Okay. First of all, quick question, Malcolm. Before they turned on each other, which side do you think won? Think about this. This is going to influence my answer.
Oh, dang.
I think I was on the eastern side before they turned on each other.
Well, Malcolm, I really, really kind of wanted to break your heart for Mr. Rogers and Mr. T, but you said that is the right answer. So, yeah, it's a yes vote for me.
All right. Andrew, what do you think?
I am also going to say yes for this one. I think just what happens at the end and how the Eastern philosophers got the Western philosophers to turn on each other, but then, the Eastern philosophers ended up turning on each other, and just what happens at the end is pretty great. And this is definitely one of the best, especially in the later seasons when they weren't as good. This was a nice one to get.
All right. It makes list. Me and Aaron do not get an opinion in this one. So, Aaron, what would you have said?
I would have said yes. This was towards the top of my list. I think just in terms of the production on it, having 6 different rappers go at once, I think it's at once as in like not adding one by one. I think it's the only time they ever did something like that. Wait, no, they had another one afterwards that they did, but having that many people go at each other at once is something hard to not make fall apart fast. And I think they did a good job of everyone giving equal lines. I think all the lines were well written. And yeah, at the end, it was funny making all of them turn on each other. So, yeah.
All right. So I would have said no because Malcolm likes to no vote everything else. So I wanted to teach him a lesson. But apparently you guys are... I guess you guys are okay with awarding bad behavior. So, I will throw out this one. So at this point, it's all 12. So I'm going to be really surprised if anything gets brought up that like burst onto the top like 5 because I think they would have been brought up by now. But I like this one because I'm kind of a history nut, so that kind of plays a factor into this one. And I'm going to say Gandhi versus Martin Luther King. I absolutely love this one just because I'm a history buff, and they throw out such good jabs at each other. So that's my vote. Zadius is apparently telling me hell no already. So I'm going to go to Malcolm so he can start the no parade.
You know what? I'm actually going to say no to this because
Oh man! Oh,
You're off.
damn, bro.
just because I really didn't enjoy this. It was fine, but
You
yeah.
don't like pacifists. It's okay. Whatever.
Jesus
All right.
Christ.
I knew Andrew was a really good guy before this. Let's hope he continues that streak. Andrew, what do you say?
I'm going to have to say no for this one.
What a shocker. The guy with the Wolverine on his hat says no.
But I just think, especially with who they got, Key and Peele, this one just fell a little bit flat for me, and it's just not one of my favorites. So I'm gonna have to go now.
Okay. We know who didn't do good in history class in school. Aaron, what do you say?
I'm actually going to say, yeah, like I said before with Jordan Ali, I like Cam Peel on the show. I think this one is definitely weaker than the other one. That one is the stronger of the two, but I still think they did a good job here, and I think somehow they made a Gandhi performance that wasn't racist. So
That's true.
That's true. And Zadius, you can be the deciding vote here. What say you? Do you close the list, or are you completely wrong?
This is the part where all of our African American viewers are about to hate me. But it was a good matchup, but I thought the Michael Jordan versus Ali one was better. And with one spot left, I mean, it's not a hell no. It's just a soft no for this one.
You can't say a hell no to Martin Luther King Jr. Okay.
Yeah. It was a good matchup, but yeah, it's no.
Okay, well, you're wrong again. It's not a big deal. So
I also just want to say before moving on, I think with this one more than any of the others, they did a great job of making a fight that was clearly politically driven without being too political one way or the other.
Yeah, that's true.
I think in some of those political fights, their positions do come out a little too much. They did a better job keeping it even on this one.
even though he was well, wait, did Andrew voted against me? So let's just see if Andrew can put one on the list, even though it's going to get a no from me.
I'm gonna have to nominate Hulk Hogan and Macho Man versus Kim Jong-il. I love who they got to play Kim Jong-il, and I mean I'm a huge wrestling fan, so seeing Hogan and it was pretty cool, and what they did to bring Macho Man in was pretty awesome, and I'm gonna have to bring it up.
All right, Malcolm, what do you say?
Oh yeah, this one definitely deserves to be on the list. I really enjoyed this, and I mean, having the wrestlers against Kim Jong Un didn't make a lot of sense on paper, but they made it work in a rap battle world. So I mean, it definitely worked. So,
Zadius, what do you say?
You know what? Hulk Hogan, Macho Man versus Kim Jong-il. I like Andrew. Andrew's a good guy so far. But seeing Malcolm's enjoyment from that with his, oh, yeah, that was amazing. And that just makes me want to say, stick with the theme of wrestling. To me, this one has no chance. No chance in hell on my list. So, no.
Aaron, what do you say?
Yeah, I think when you talk about the weaker examples of some of the earlier episodes, I do think this is one of them. Timothy De La Ghetto was funny as Kim Jong-il, but I think he was better in the Philosopher's Rap. And honestly, I say this as someone who's not a huge fan of wrestling. Watching the two wrestlers was like watching caricatures. It just, to me, it kind of exemplifies the bad parts of some of those earlier episodes. It's corny acting. The matchups don't make that much sense. The writing's not as strong as it became. So for me, it's gonna have to be a no.
Oh, dang it! So it comes down to me, and Bonesaw is ready. I'm gonna give it a yes vote because I absolutely I am a huge wrestling fan from way back. So I play rank them completely different. I believe the 12th spot is pretty much a participation trophy for thanks for showing up. So, Hulk Hogan and King Kong.
Is that what we're giving to Malcolm?
You made the list. Okay. What are we giving Malcolm?
You said it's a participation trophy for showing up. Is that what we're giving to Malcolm?
Yes, absolutely. Because he really has no say in this vote besides Zeus and Thor and Eastern and Western philosophers. So, this is how the ranking part goes. We're going to go around. We're going to write what we believe belongs in the 12th spot. And I will call on each one. If you have a whiteboard, if you need one, you can go ahead and grab them now. I'm going to start with some honorable mentions from people. Malcolm, since you were the hippest guy in the room, I'm going to start with you first and pick the ones that no one wanted on their list, but you did.
Yeah, so I had a lot of ones on here. I had Gordon Ramsay versus Julia Child. I thought was really fun. I had Gandalf versus Dumbledore. I had Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd. I mean, doesn't really matter which one you choose. Both of them really worked when they're playing themselves. And I really had a lot on my list.
All right, Zadius, what would you have put on the list that didn't get a chance? What would you like to bring up?
Well, of course, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse to the ground, but Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T should be on this list. But some other ones I had as honorable mentions were it was on my list. Goku versus Superman. I think that one was surprisingly well with during the last. I think it was season 4. I think, and then Goku versus Superman. Chuck Norris versus Abraham Lincoln. Chuck Norris was amazing in this one. I think he definitely won that battle. Epic Lloyd versus Nice Peter. The second one that shit seemed too real. It was nice. It seemed very real to me. And again, even though it wasn't brought up on it wasn't on the list, but Hitler versus Vader 3 was a great one to me. It just wasn't on my list because at the time it was we can only nominate 1, and 2 was definitely my favorite one, but 3 was damn good too.
All right, Aaron, what ones did you have?
Most of my list, actually, I came up with about 15. Most of them made it on there. So the ones that are left, Rasputin versus Stalin, just because I believe that was the first multi-person battle, and I think they did a good job with that. Wright Brothers versus Mario Brothers, I just thought was one of those matchups that didn't really make sense in conception, except that they're brothers and it worked. Seuss versus Shakespeare, kind of the lesser version of Meet a Stephen King versus Allan Poe. George Watsky's good in it again. Deadpool versus Boba Fett, another one of those promotional ones I thought turned out the best they could have for something that was just thrown together for promotional purposes. Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla, I just like the beat to it, and I just like that it's different. A lot of the people involved in these battles are definitely like pop culture figures, characters from movies, famous actors and musicians. So to make a good battle centered around someone that's not them was different, and I liked it. And I do have to shout out the original John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly, which would be so much better if they bothered to make Nice Peter do a British accent.
All right, and I won't read off my honorable mentions because the former host of Playlists and Jukebox Trivia sent his list, so I'm going to read them for him. I'm so sad that he can't have his show back anymore. Brooklyn Vale, on his birthday, wanted me to read. So from 10, he had Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra.
Yeah.
9, Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers. 8, Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney. 7, Theodore Roosevelt versus Winston Churchill. Einstein versus Hawking at number 6. 5, James Bond versus Austin Powers. 4, Rasputin versus Stalin. 3, Artist versus Turtles. 2, Eastern philosophers versus Western philosophers. And one was Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs. This is hilarious. Only 2 of his actually made the list. 11 and 12 were Poe and versus King and John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly. So that's hilarious. Brooklyn, again, your choices suck, and that's why you can't have your show back.
Wait, quick question.
Daddy?
I want to make a quick comment real quick. I want to take back my happy birthday to Brooklyn because if he would have been here today, Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T would have been on the list.
I agree with that because
Zadius.
Jobs versus Gates would have made it, and I'm pretty salty about that now.
Zadius, you need to learn something. Brooklyn brings disappointment and tears to everybody he affects. I have been the pro get rid of Brooklyn for a while. I have a petition going. You can sign it. But yes, when he matters most, he lets you down. Okay, so we're going to get to the ranking part of this show. Just kidding, Brooklyn, happy birthday. Not really. Don't like you. So we're going to go around. Vote what you think should be in the 12th spot. I will read off what made the list. Obama versus Mitt Romney. Zeus versus Thor. Darth Vader versus Hitler 1 and 2. Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. Rick Grimes versus Walter White. Spielberg versus Hitchcock. Eastwood versus Lee. The GOAT Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali. Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King. Eastern philosophers versus Western philosophers. And Hulk Hogan and Macho Man versus Kim Jong-il. So, vote what you think should be in the 12th spot. And Malcolm, are you able to keep track of which one goes where, or do you need to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start with Aaron. What should be in the 12th spot?
I said Kim Jong versus Randy Savage.
Okay. Zadius.
Yeah,
What should be in the 12th spot?
I wrote it down once we got done. It was the tag team match versus Kim Jong Il.
Malcolm. What would you say?
I had Rick Grimes versus Walter White.
Oh,
So he was
Andrew. What do you say?
I really don't think this one should have made the list to begin with. Zeus versus Thor.
Oh, bone saw is ready. Hulk Hogan goes to the bottom. Sorry. So that's 12. Now you're voting for number 11. All right. I'm going to start with Andrew this time.
I didn't change my vote. Zeus versus Thor.
Zadius.
Well, I'm just to make sure I'm not changing it. I put the Stanley match. Stanley versus Jim Henson.
Jim Henson.
Was it?
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Aaron.
I put Grimes versus Walter White.
Malcolm.
I also have Grimes versus Walter White.
Oh,
Well, Zadius, you're going to have to change the vote here because I put Zeus versus Thor. So, Zadius, you get to choose between Walter White and Rick Grimes versus Zeus and Thor. Which one deserves the 11th spot?
Zeus versus Thor was going to be my 10th spot, so I have no problem with falling to 11.
All right. So Zeus versus Thor is 11. Let's vote for the next one.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot tougher here. I'm actually okay with that. I'll start with Malcolm.
I'm sticking with Grimes versus Walter White.
All right. Andrew.
I'm going to have to go with Stan Lee versus Jim Henson.
Okay. Aaron.
Sam, I went with Grimes versus White again.
The hipsters are united. Zadius, what do you say?
Henson versus Stanley.
Henson versus Stan Lee makes the 10th spot. screw the Muppets. Okay. You're voting for the 9th spot now. And 2 don't need to change the vote, apparently, so... I'll start with you two first. Malcolm.
Yeah, I'm still on Grimes versus White.
What a shocker. Aaron, are you still there?
Yeah, same one. Sorry.
Thaddeus.
Did Poe versus Stephen King make the list?
You did.
It did.
Yeah.
And you're incorrect. Okay. Andrew.
I'm gonna have to go with the first Vader versus Hitler.
All right, and I decided to just jump on the sword. Rick Grimes versus Walter White.
Oh man.
The only reason I did
Forcing
that
me
is
and Aaron to
because
have to change our
Walter
votes finally.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make them actually right. So, okay.
Einstein versus Hawkins made the list. I just wanna.
No, did not.
Oh, it didn't.
Did not.
Then I'm missing one. Oh, well.
Hulk Hogan and number 12, Henson 11, or Henson 10, Zeus and Thor 11, White and Grimes were 9, and then we have Spielberg and Hitchcock, Obama and Mitt Romney, Michael Jordan versus Ali, Poe versus King, Eastern versus Western, Vader 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so what is Malcolm's first one?
I put Bruce Lee versus Clint Eastwood.
Okay, Zedius.
I think Malcolm just wants to steal all my joy today, so I'm sticking with Poe versus King.
Aaron.
I went with Clint Eastwood versus Bruce Lee.
Wow. Andrew.
I'm going with Lee versus Eastwood.
Okay. My vote doesn't matter. I was Vader versus Hitler 1. Okay. Last
It was
time, not
right?
everything, apparently. All right. Now we're going for 8.
7.
Yeah, 7.
Lee
Right?
versus Eastwood was 8.
What was 9? Then I missed one.
Grimes versus White was 9.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. You're right. My bad. That's why I have you in charge of that. The next one. Andrew, start us top.
Vader versus Hitler 1.
I changed mine. Michael Jordan versus Ali. Thaddeus.
I did not change mine. Poe versus King.
Okay. Aaron.
Vader versus Hitler 2.
Oh boy.
Oh!
What?
Malcolm can decide it right here. Which one did he vote for?
Zedius will probably be happy because I put Poe versus King.
Oh man, this is.
There it is. Wow.
Fair enough.
You're good,
No.
man, sir.
I don't like this.
I thought that was going to be the first ever 5-way split. Which
Damn.
I don't know what we do in that moment, but it's okay.
Flip a
I
coin.
thought it was your show, man.
Actually, I think everybody's heads explode and we just go home. Or
I'm cool with that.
We're dead.
I'm already home.
All right. We're going to start with Aaron.
I guess I'll stick with the same one, Vader, Hitler 2.
Thaddeus.
Yeah, I changed it up. Hitchcock versus Spielberg.
Oh man.
That is completely false. Andrew.
Vader Hitler 1.
Malcolm.
I also had Vader Hitler 1.
Oh. Malcolm's a
Yeah.
smart man.
All right. That becomes your number because I did not have that one. Okay. So that one was number 6.
Yep.
Yes.
Wait, what was eliminated?
Vader versus Hitler 1.
Got it.
Okay, so everybody vote for your next one. Remaining ones: Darth Vader versus Hitler 2, Eastern versus Western philosophers. Spielberg versus Hitchcock. Obama versus Mitt Romney. And that is Michael Jordan versus Ali. So, all right.
Yeah.
I'll start it off. I put Michael Jordan versus Ali. Malcolm.
Vader Hitler 2.
Aaron.
It did make it to the top 5, but Vader Hitler 2.
Okay. Zadius.
Andrew, please. I hope we got the same answer. I put Hitchcock versus Spielberg. Please don't take Vader off. Not this one. Not yet.
Andrew, what do you say?
I had Obama versus Romney.
Ow!
Oh!
Ow!
Vader versus Hitler 2 is number 5.
Yeah, Malcolm just killing me today.
It's in the top 5. That's still good.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that they're 1 and 2, like right next to each other. So, fantastic to me. All right, so we're doing 4th spot right now. So, what does everybody put? Let me write mine real quick. All right, I'm going to start with Zadius.
Just because of what we have left, I'm still sticking with it. Was a good matchup, but Hitchcock versus Spielberg.
Get out of here, Zadius. Andrew.
Obama versus Romney.
Malcolm.
Just like their sporting careers, they had a great run. I put Ali versus Jordan.
Oh boy.
Aaron.
Put the philosophers.
Ooh.
And I put the philosophers. So,
Damn.
Malcolm, you get to decide between the two.
Wait, is it Malcolm or
Wait, what?
Wait, no, it's the philosophers win because
the philosophers are, the
Andrew put
philosophers
Romney versus Obama.
Yeah, they
Okay.
had 2 different answers.
Okay, wow. Okay, interesting. So number 4. So now it's the final 3. Spielberg versus Hitchcock, Obama versus Mitt Romney, or where's the one I'm missing? MJ versus Ali. So.
One second.
Nope. You should have the same answer.
Maybe he changed it.
Okay, we're going to start with Aaron.
It took me this long to realize I could just do this. Lincoln's victims. Romney versus Obama.
Oh my God. Okay. Zadius.
I was going to change it to Obama versus Romney, but nope. I decided to stick with Hitchcock versus Spielberg.
Okay. Andrew.
It's so high.
Obama versus Romney.
Malcolm.
I'm sticking with Ali versus Jordan.
Well,
Oh,
now you get to decide
boy, oh
because
boy.
I put Spielberg versus Hitchcock. So,
God damn it.
So Malcolm's making a decision.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy because it's going to be Obama versus Romney.
Thank you.
Can I just say something before that one happened? When I nominated it, Zadius and Malcolm both go, it's pretty low on my list, but I'll give it a yes vote, and it made it to top 3. So okay.
I know, right?
Apparently, I did pick the right one for first. Okay, so now it's fine. You write down your number 1. Is it Ali versus MJ or Spielberg versus Hitchcock? All right, we're going to start with the hipster, the man that knows it all, Malcolm.
Spielberg versus Hitchcock.
All right, Aaron.
I wrote filmmakers, Spielberg versus Hitchcock.
Okay. Zadius.
I see what you tried to do. You tried to get me to keep my answer, but no, I flipped it around. It's Ali versus MJ.
Andrew.
Spielberg versus Hitchcock.
Oh, that seals it because I also put the same thing, Spielberg versus Hitchcock. So the number one is that. So I will go through the list as followed. Malcolm, I guess, or Malcolm, actually, you can read it if you wrote them all down. So
Yeah, he's got 'em.
I'll let you announce.
So at number 12, we had Hulk Hogan and Mandy Savage versus Kim Jong-il. At number 11, we had Zeus versus Thor. At number 10, we had Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. At number 9, Grimes versus White. At number 8, Lee versus Eastwood. At number 7, Poe versus King. At 6, we've got Vader versus Hitler. At 5, we've got Vader versus Hitler 2. At 4, we've got The Philosophers. At 3, we've got Obama versus Romney. And 2, we've got Ali versus Jordan. And 1, we've got Spielberg versus Hitchcock.
All right, that is your list. We were probably wrong. We might be right. Malcolm is definitely not right, but it's all right because I like him. And this was the best playlist ever because Brooklyn was not here. My arch enemy, the man, the Knuckles to my Sonic, he was not here to torment me. So I appreciate that. Have birthdays more often, Brooklyn. I'm going to go around just to get plugs from everybody. I'm going to start with the man, the myth, the legend, myself. No, I'm just kidding. And Andrew, where can the good people find you?
You can find me various places on the internet, but you can find me on my own channel, just Andrew Hayes. I do reviews and stuff, so yeah.
Sweet. Aaron, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me on the Worldwide Movie Games Network channel for Movie Battleground. Not that I actually appear on camera anymore because shit like this happens, but helping run that show over there, producing content, which is what YouTube channels do. And I have to say, Andrew, that was the best plug I've ever heard. You can also find me on the internet.
You're a good man. Zadius, Z-Man, where can people find
you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ZADDEUS Zadius Smith. I'm doing multiplex trivia, other trivia on the internet. You can also find me at Stardust doing movie reviews, TV show reviews. Stardust app at Retribution Z. And also, most importantly, it's not about me, but if you watch this match, go check out Epic Rap Battles of Histories if you have not seen any of these videos, because you will have a good ass time. So trust.
Oh, Malcolm, the hipster, the great guy about a part of Take 3. Where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Take 3. I host a show similar to this called Rankum. You can also
do his own version of the list.
You can also find me apparently being wrong on my own show, but the next episode we're doing is one that Brooklyn forced me to not put a poll up for. It's Simpson characters, and it's going to be a interesting one. But yeah, and you can also find me and Cody taking on Brooklyn and Harley Bork in a Schmodown Trivia Schmodown match, which drops next week. And you can also find me competing in movie trivia all over the place.
All right, and you can find me at Facebook and Cody Newberry. You can find me on Take 3. Just after the show, we're doing a watch-along of The Lion King with me and Linus, because apparently those are the only two that can show up today. You can find me tomorrow night defending my speed round debates on Late Night with Take 3, and maybe Brooklyn won't show up to that show either, which will be fantastic. And you can find me on Rankum when episodes are to my liking, but Simpsons I hate, so I won't be there. And that's been Playlist. Drive unsafe. No, I'm just kidding. Drive safe.